Hello, good day. Welcome back to another math video. This video is a continuation of our previous discussion on solving quadratic equations using extracting the square roots and factoring. So this day, we'll have solving quadratic equations by using these two methods, completing the square and quadratic formula. Now let's recall that a quadratic equation has a standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, wherein a, b, and c are called the coefficients and a can never be 0. So when we are using completing the square to solve for quadratic equations, there are things that we must consider. Number one, completing the square will only work if the quadratic equation is in the form x squared plus bx. Example given, we have x squared plus 4x. And to use completing the square, we need to identify our b, divided by 2, square the result. So you will understand these concepts as we delve with examples. Example 1. Solve the following quadratic equation by completing the square. We have x squared is equal to negative 2x. Step number 1. Express as x squared plus bx. This will give us x squared plus 2x is equal to 0. In completing the square, we are looking for a third number that will make this term as a perfect square trinomial. So to do that, we will identify our b. In this case, that is 2. Divided by 2, so we have 2 over 2 is equal to 1. Square the result, 1 squared is equal to 1. So therefore, we will be adding positive 1 to our equation. So we will have x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0 plus 1. This is now a perfect square trinomial. So we can express this one as the quantity of x plus 1 squared is equal to 1. Now you might be asking, how did I know that I should use 1? Now remember earlier, we identified our b. Our b is 2. b over 2, that is 2 over 2 is 1. So therefore, we will be using 1. That's the technique here. This is always the case. So I want us to notice this pattern as we proceed with the next two examples later. So again, we have the quantity of x plus 1 squared is equal to 1. We will now extract the square roots. We have the square root of the quantity of x plus 1 squared is equal to the square root of 1. That will give us x plus 1 is equal to plus minus 1. We will now solve for x. We have x is equal to 1 minus 1, that is 0. And then the other x is equal to negative 2. So therefore, our solution for this problem is 0 and a negative 2. As always, we can verify our answer by simply substituting these values to our original equation. Example number 2. We have x squared minus 12x plus 11 is equal to 0. Again, express as x squared plus bx. This will give us x squared minus 12x is equal to negative 11. Identify our b. In this example, our b is a negative 12. Negative 12 over 2, that is negative 6. Negative 6 squared, that is a positive 36. So we need to add 36 to our equation. So we will write x squared minus 12x plus 36 is equal to negative 11 plus 36. Again, this is now a perfect square trinomial. So we can express this one as x. What is again negative 12 over 2? That's negative 6. So we will have the quantity of x minus 6 squared is equal to 25. Negative 11 plus 36 is 25. Next, we will extract the square roots. We have the square root of the quantity of x minus 6 squared is equal to the square root of 25. And this will give us x minus 6 is equal to plus minus 5. We will now solve for x. X will be 11. The other one will be a positive 1. And this will be our solution. Again, to check, simply substitute these values to our equation. We'll have example 3. We have x squared plus 6x plus 8 is equal to 0. Express as x squared plus bx. We will have x squared plus 6x is equal to negative 8. Identify our b. b is a positive 6. 6 divided by 2, that will give us 3. 3 squared is 9. So therefore, we need to add 9 to our entire equation. That will give us x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to negative 8 plus 9. And again, this is now a perfect square trinomial. This can be expressed as the quantity of x plus 3 squared is equal to 1. Extract the square root. We have the square root of the quantity of x plus 3 squared is equal to the square root of 1, which will give us x plus 3 is equal to plus minus 1. Solve for x. X will be negative 2 and a negative 4. So this will be our solution. Negative 2 and negative 4. So this is how we solve quadratic equations using the completing the square. We will now have the quadratic formula. So solving quadratic equations using quadratic formula. So to start, I want us to familiarize the quadratic formula. It is given by x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. where a, b, and c are coefficients of the quadratic equation and a is not equal to 0. So we will try to use this formula for us to better understand the concept. Example 1, x squared minus 5x minus 14 is equal to 0. First thing that we should do is we will identify our a, b, and c. In this example, our a is 1, our b is negative 5, our c is negative 14. So after identifying our a, b, and c, we will then substitute these values to our quadratic formula. So we will have x is equal to negative b, that is negative of the negative 5 because b is equal to negative 5, plus minus the square root of b, which is again negative 5 squared, minus 4a, a is 1, c, negative 14, all over 2a, 2 times 1. We will simplify this equation. Negative times negative is positive. Negative 5 squared, that will give us 25. Negative 4 times 1 is 4 times negative 14, that will give us a positive 56 all over 2a. After that, we will have x is equal to 5 plus minus 25 plus 56 is 81 over 2. The square root of 81 is plus minus 9. So we will have this. X is equal to 5 plus minus 9 over 2. We then now solve for x. We will have x is equal to 5 plus 9 over 2, which is 7. The other one is x is equal to 5 minus 9 over 2, which is a negative 2. So therefore, the solution for this problem is negative 2 and 7. Example number 5. We have x squared plus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. Step number 1, identify our a, b, and c. In this example, a is 1, b is 4, c is 3. So we will substitute these values to our quadratic formula. We will have x is equal to negative 4 plus minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2a. Simplify, we will have 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 1 times 3 will give you negative 12. 2 times 1 is 2. So we will now have x is equal to negative 4 plus minus 16 minus 12 is 4 all over 2. Simplify, we have x is equal to negative 4 plus minus 2 over 2. Solve for x. We have x is equal to negative 4 plus 2 over 2, which is equal to negative 1, and then the other one will be equal to negative 3. So the solutions are negative 1 and negative 3. We'll have the last example for solving quadratic equation using quadratic formula. Example 6. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus 20 is equal to 0. Notice that our a is no longer 1. So what are we going to do? We'll be using the same process. So first is identify a, b, and c. In this example, a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, c is equal to negative 20. Substitute these values to our quadratic formula. We will have x is equal to negative 3 plus minus 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 20 all over 2 times 2. That will give us negative 3. 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 20. That is equal to a positive 160. All over 2 times 2 is 4. And then we will have x is equal to negative 3 plus minus the square root of 169 over 4. Simplify, we will have x is equal to negative 3 plus minus 13 over 4. Solve for x. X is equal to negative 3 plus 13 over 4, or equal to 5 halves, and then the other one will be equal to negative 4. So the solutions will be 5 over 2 and negative 4. So that's how to use the quadratic formula in solving the quadratic equation. Feel free to ask if you do have questions and clarifications by using our comment section down below. We will be releasing a bonus video about solving quadratic equations using our calculator. We'll see you there.